Thanks for giving this video a chance. Some dude in Detroit sitting on his paisley couch in front of a yellow wall. Why would you click on this video? Because this guy is going to talk about conspiracy theories. It's a subject that I find incredibly fascinating. The theories behind what is actually happening in the world we live in. Conspiracies galore. There's conspiracies all around us. Everyone's got a secret. There's groups of people who are working together to create some sort of event happening, or perhaps to collaborate and reach some sort of goal, or otherwise manifest some sort of situation that other people may or may not want to happen. But the point is that conspiracies are indeed all around us, and one of the things that I feel strongly about is that most of conspiracies that are out there, most of the theories that are out there, are absolutely incorrect. You have to think about it. Most of them are going to be incorrect because there's only one actual truth about what's truly happening. Now, it's easy to say that parts of a conspiracy may be true, while most of them may not be true, or vice versa. There's gradients here. But when it comes down to it, the overall objective reality of what's happening when it comes to conspiracies and how the world works and how the powers that be govern us and rule us, whether or not you want to subscribe to the idea that you can be ruled or governed or influenced in any way, it comes down to this, is that there's the reality that none of us truly knows. I think that even the people on top of the pyramid, so to speak, on that eye on top of the pyramid, or the ones who are the watchers, whoever's on top of all of the things when it comes to power structures, they don't really know what's going on either. Because, and this is my theory, so keep your mind open about this, I think that most of the people, when it comes to power struggles and getting that king of the hill situation, there can only be like so many people on top, or so much order on top, that gets toppled and people backstab each other for more power or more influence or more money or whatever it might be. And you can't blame people for believing in conspiracies, because people want to find a place that they can put blame on things, or they want to find an explanation. They don't want to feel like they've been deceived. They want to feel like they actually know what's happening, and therefore they might buy into a conspiracy theory and think that it's true, or really find reasons for it to be true. They'll go out of their way. It's called confirmation bias, when you're actively seeking out something because you want evidence for it to be true. You want to find anything and everything that will agree with that bias, that you want to confirm your own bias, that yes, this is indeed true. For example, right now there's a lot of people out there that either believe in strongly in wearing a mask or not wearing one at all. And people who are on both sides of those have multitude of reasons for coming to their conclusion on why wearing a mask is a really good idea, or why wearing a mask is an incredibly bad idea. And sometimes with both of those perspectives of wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, people can be motivated to come to a certain conclusion because they feel that there's some sort of conspiracy out there that's leading them to come to that conclusion. And what I mean by that is, some folks out there feel as though you have to wear a mask because there are people out there that want to intentionally infect people with the virus for the sake of population control. On the other hand, there's other people out there that think that if you wear a mask, that you're complying with the system and with the influencers, and that you are being fooled, or that it's a symbol of you being gullible to actually buy into the fact that there's a legitimate concern out there. So wherever you might lie on that spectrum, I know there's a lot of other different perspectives that can be had there, but those are an example of two perspectives of people who are being influenced to think a certain way because they feel like there's some sort of conspiracy out there that's leading them to go in that direction. It's complicated because we also have the JFK assassination, we have 9/11 and all the things that happened there. There was some very strange things about both of those occasions. There was very strange things about a number of different assassinations throughout history. There's strange things about what happened with Waco, Texas. There's all sorts of things that make you raise an eyebrow, make you wonder, what actually happened? And as a result of every time something crazy happens, or some sort of anomaly or black swan event happens, people want to feel as though there's some sort of orchestration, or there's some sort of men or people behind the curtain that are puppeteering everything and controlling all this stuff. When in fact, I think more often than not, it's complete and utter chaos and people acting out of selfish interests, who are trying to acquire as much power and money as they possibly can for the sake of their own ego, or for the sake of their own bloodline, if they're trying to pass off wealth to the next generation, or if they want to secure power for the future generations, with the aristocracies and the royal families of the world, trying to make sure that they maintain their power and make sure they maintain their control and their influence in the world, to make sure that they stay on top, because Darwin, survival of the fittest, the laws of nature. And then you can also see a lot of people out there that find religion, and they find solace and comfort in religion because of all the evils in the world. And there's arguments that if you become like a sheep, like Christianity wants you to become, or if you become like a public servant, or if you become someone who is pious, that you humble yourself before the Lord and before the powers that be, and it makes you more docile, it makes you more easily controlled, is one argument. Now there's other arguments that state that you can be very religious and very defiant against the system because God's grace is leading you to the truth. And I think all of those sorts of perspectives are incredibly dangerous. It's very dangerous just to jump to a conclusion because you feel it's true or you want it to be true. Or when you're looking for confirmation of your own bias, you're looking for information that only fits your reality tunnel or your perspective of reality, and other things that don't quite fit it, you kind of push it away. You don't want to even consider that it might be true. And in fact, you find reasons for it to be fake news, or you might find it reasons for it to be otherwise propaganda that's aimed towards you to deceive you into thinking differently, and you won't even take a look at hard evidence sometimes. I know I'm the same way. I'm not just preaching to anyone out there, and I'm not trying to get anyone to believe in one thing or the other. I just think it's important that we all recognize that there's lots of conspiracy theories out there. Most of them are absolutely incorrect, and they don't have truth value to them whatsoever, most of them. And if you think that you did find the truth in a conspiracy theory, think about this one. Think about it really hard and clearly, that it's in the interest of the powers that be, or the puppeteers, or the eye in the pyramid, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. Even if they even exist and they're well organized and well orchestrated, it's in their best interest if you actually believe in the wrong stuff and propagate the wrong information and spread the wrong information. It works out in their favor if you think about it. The more smokescreen there is that blocks any attention on what's actually happened and what's actually happening, it works in their advantage. So if you really think that something's true because it makes you feel good, or you think that it's true because you read about it on the internet for a little while and it blew your mind and opened your mind up to some other worlds of how things that can actually function out there, and you just believe it because, why do you believe it? Why do you believe it? Think about that. Why are you actually buying into this theory? Is there substantial evidence behind it? Do you think it's true just because it could be true, or do you think it's true because it really is true? And what makes it true to you? What makes you actually buy into it? You got to really consider that. You got to find out reasons why it's not true also, and poke holes in it and see why it wouldn't make sense for it to be true. Because if you want to get down to it and you really want to figure out what's actually going on in this world that we live in, you got to make sure you get past all the BS. You got to sift through a lot of that. And at the end of the day, do you really want to know the truth? How much will it really help your situation? How much can you really wake up other people if you find what the truth is? And how crazy would you sound like if you actually found out what the truth is? I know there's a lot of people that I'm friends with that claim to have found the truth, and they're convinced they found the truth because of either some sort of hardcore research they did, or they found some sort of group that claims to know the truth and they believe in it strongly because they share a common faith with them. Or even there's some friends of mine that believe that they get divine messages from angels or from God or from some otherworldly beings that are guiding them towards a more truthful perspective. And I think all of that's incredibly dangerous. I think it's very dangerous to think that you have the truth. I think it's a lot better to consider that you might not know the truth, you might not know what's going on in this world, and that your perceptions are faulty. Fundamentally, all of our perceptions are faulty. This has been proven time and time again with politicians, with magicians, with advertising, with so many things, like the media, all these different things. It's easy for people to be deceived, and no one wants to think for a second or feel like they've been deceived or that they're able to be deceived. But it happens all the time. It's important to recognize that none of our perceptions are perfect. We only have one perspective on things. We can't see all 360 degrees of a particular issue. We're just not able to. We're stuck with our one perspective. All we know is what we can tune into our body, into our nervous system, and that's not enough. It's not enough to get to answers. It's not enough to get to conclusions. And then you have to sit there and wonder if my perceptions are inaccurate, or if I'm not getting the right information to come to the right conclusion. And I'm aware of that, and other people think that they're not able to be deceived. You have to really think about that. If someone thinks that they're unable to be deceived, or that they have some sort of higher sensory perceptions, or that they have the information that other people just don't have or have access to, you really have to wonder if they think that their perceptions are that perfect and that their thought process is that perfect and their logic is that perfect. They're not. There's no way. There's no way, because if they can't stop and think for a second that they might be wrong about something and double back on their information and look over what they took in and determine whether or not it is or not true, chances are they're just taking information and thinking, oh, perfect, I got this, you know, God's on my side, or I got the angels guiding me in the right direction. And it's just really dangerous, especially when you think you have the answers and you're spreading all the answers to other people and other people buy into it. This is a big problem with very charismatic leaders and very charismatic people who think that they found the answers and they want to share them with other people. The rabbit hole of conspiracy theories is incredible, and it's very dangerous to fall down. And I'm very much fascinated by it because at a younger age, when the internet first started happening, back with 14.4 modems and 28.8 modems and 56K modems, you know, the ones you used when you had to dial up on a phone? And what I mean by dial-up, you actually had to punch numbers on a phone. Our computers had to use the phone line to call up a server in order to get access to the internet. And when that started happening, I started jumping online, and I remember seeing a couple documentaries on TV about secret societies and conspiracy theories. And it really messed with my head, thinking that, oh wow, there are unwholesome people out there that are running this world, and they're doing horribly evil things in order to maintain their power and to maintain their wealth and to maintain their bloodlines. And when it comes down to it, it sure looks like it could be true. I have no evidence of that because that involves a bunch of things that I'm not allowed to know about. I'd have no access to. It's well hidden from my eye. It's obscure, and there's no way I can possibly know. All I can do is come up with theories, and then when I get the theories, where do I go from there? So therefore, the best thing I think I can do is keep a healthy level of skepticism when it comes to conspiracy theories, try to use my best judgment, try to test things for truth value by poking holes in it and see where it sinks and where it floats. And to try to find truth is a very difficult thing. And I admire the seeker of truth, but I am very skeptical when I find someone who claims to have found truth, because truth is very elusive. It slips right through your fingers. Once you think you got it, it's gone. And the world we live in is always changing. The universe is always changing. So you can't apprehend everything, and you can't actually know objective reality. Even though I believe that objective reality actually exists out there in some sense, but we just can't actively apprehend it all in its totality and come out with an actual honest assessment as to what the heck is going on in this universe, much less what's going on this planet, much less what's going on in our neighborhoods or even in our own bodies. It's amazing when I find these people who claim that they have extrasensory perception like ESP, or they have divine connections with angels or with God, and they feel like they have this divine connection with these otherworldly beings that give them the truth. And at the same time, they can't remember where they set down their cell phone, or they mess up the easiest, most medial things, and they have this sort of blinder to it, and they refuse to recognize when they make mistakes. These people are very dangerous. You should not listen to them when it comes to what's true and what's false. And I should know, because I was one of those people who felt like I found the truth and I had to tell the whole world about it, or at least I had to tell them very cryptically and carefully because I didn't want them to know, those who were watching me. And truth be told, they'd be very happy to see me passing along false information because I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. I thought I found the truth. I'm sharing falsehoods, and it's only providing more smokescreen to the powers that be that are actually deceiving us. So with all that being considered, folks, thanks very much for watching. This one's off the rails. I'll be making more videos on conspiracy theories in the future because I'm absolutely fascinated by them. And I don't want to necessarily talk about specific conspiracy theories or what I truly believe in myself, because that's a personal belief. And I'm not here to share those and propagate those beliefs, because I want people to come to their own conclusions. I want people to be a light to themselves. I want people to actually think critically for themselves and find truth for themselves, instead of listening to all the rhetoric and the BS and the meme sharing and all the BS, just the blah blah out there. The internet's a very loud place. There's so much going on, and you can find truth for anything. You can find proof and truth for any perspective you are trying to reinforce, and you can very easily just deny any evidence that proves contrary to that perspective. And people do it all the time. I know I do it, and I'm in denial of doing it. We're all in denial of doing it to some degree, and I hope that something in this video struck a chord with you. I hope that something that you believe in, yet you can take a step back from and reevaluate and wonder, why do I believe in this? Why do I trust this? Why do I not trust that? These are important things to question, important things to wonder. Why do I trust science? Why do I not trust science? Why do I trust this religion? Why do I not trust this religion? Why do I not trust this particular demographic of people? Why do I have a distrust of the rich? Why do I feel like something happened differently than it actually was reported as happening? All great questions, all reserved for another time, another place, another video further down the line. Thanks very much for watching. Once again, I know this video is crazy all over the place, but I hope it does something for someone out there. Please leave a comment down below about anything that you saw in this video that you found useful, or any critiques in this video about any sort of conspiracy theories that you particularly find fascinating, or ones that you feel are absolutely not true. We hear often about all these people talking about conspiracy theories that are true, but I think it's time we talk more about what people think is not true. I think that if people talk about more what's not true, we can poke more holes in things and figure out more about what's actually standing the test, what is actually carries weight, so to speak. By using deductive reasoning, I think we have a better chance at discovering what is true instead of using confirmation biases and looking for truth and trying to find truth in a certain theory instead of actually poking holes in any sort of theories. And that's a wrap, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll be making more about conspiracies in the future. As I said earlier, you can count on that. Please check out my playlist here on my channel. I've been posting every single day for the year of 2021, and I've organized all of my content into different playlists, so it's easier for you to find something that may pique your interest. One thing I do consistently is I teach weekly circus and floor arts tutorials where you can learn how to do this right here, my friends. This is called contact juggling. It's what I'm best known for in the southeastern Michigan area, and I like to teach people how to teach themselves the subtle, mystical, magical, flowy art form known as contact juggling. I've been doing this since I was 16, about 22 years now, as I am 38. And I just fell in love with it, and I love teaching other people how to teach themselves the art of contact juggling. You can do this with anything round, well, between 2 and 5 inches and a couple pounds. You don't want anything too heavy. But there's nothing more perfect than a 3-inch acrylic sphere, except maybe a 4-inch acrylic sphere. And I actually sell these on my channel, so I'll leave a link down below to a video that shows you about all the balls I'm selling, and maybe you can buy a ball with me and you can watch my tutorials, and I can teach you how to teach yourself the art of contact juggling, or a number of other circus and floor arts tutorials. I release a new circus and floor arts tutorial every single Sunday here on my channel, and I hope that you take the time to watch a couple of those videos and see if there's anything there that you might find interesting and you want to learn how to do. And that's a wrap. I've said too much. Please remember to never give up, and to do your best, and to stay true to you, and be amazing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, good night.